Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is part 1 of my options trading videos. If you do not know anything about options at all, I'm quite certain that by the time you finish watching this video to the very end, you will have an understanding of options and you would know whether it's suitable for you or not. And I hope to keep this video within a few minutes. So stick with me and let's get this over with. All right, before we jump right in, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do me a favor. Subscribe, hit the notification button, and also like this video. It goes a long way to help the channel. So let's jump in. Very first question most people ask is, why options? Why not just buy the stocks? Why options? And my simple answer to that question, why options, is leverage. You want more leverage. That's why you want options. And options are more versatile. You can do a lot more with options. You can make money in many different scenarios. Scenarios that just buying stocks cannot make money. Options can make money. And if you learn how to use options very well, you could actually hedge your funds a lot better. Now, that being said, the learning curve of options is a little bit steep if you want to get into complex option strategies, whereas stocks is just buy and hold or short the stock. Let's look at this example. So two friends, Mr. A and Mr. B, were somehow given $250,000 to invest in real estate. Mr. A decides to buy 5 houses, splits his money into 5 parts, and has a down payment for each of his houses. Mr. B decides to spend his $250,000 to buy a house in cash, old school, just buy it outright. And Mr. B is, happy, boasting on social media that, look, I paid cash for my house. I don't owe a thing. But here's the difference. Mr. B has leverage over 1 house, and Mr. A has leverage over 5 houses. Mr. A and Mr. B already had houses, so these new houses they just bought, they actually put tenants in it. And so at the end of the year, Mr. A is making close to 5 times what Mr. B is making, even though they had the same amount of money to begin with. But because Mr. A has more control, more leverage over 5 houses, and Mr. B has leverage over just 1 house, Mr. A's earning potential just, pretty much multiplies by the number of houses he has. Minus taxes and other fees that he will need to pay on the loan, Mr. A will still come out way on top. But I just wanted you to understand what I mean by leverage. A little bit of money can give you a lot of leverage in the stock market. And that is when you go with options. If you don't have a lot of capital to buy the stocks and you want more leverage of more stocks, and you can go with options. But of course, everything has its pros and cons. So let's take a quick look at the pros and cons of options versus stocks. Here are some pros of owning stocks, which option owners cannot enjoy. Okay, 1, equity. If you own a stock, you literally own a part of a company. You own a part of a company, and you have certain privileges like the ability to vote on certain issues in the company. And some stocks actually provide you dividends. So if you have option contracts, you do not get dividend. Even though your option contract might be on dividend stocks, you will not get any dividend, no matter how long your contract is for. You have to own the stock and hold it to be able to get dividends. Also, with stocks, you have unlimited time. There is no expiration date for you to be profitable on your stocks. You can just buy it and hold it forever and hope for the best. And, there's no time constraint. But with option, expiration dates, and you have to strategize and act. Otherwise, you could lose a lot of money. Stocks generally have higher volume. That means there are more people buying and selling at any given point in time. So let's say you see a bad news about a company and you want to jump out real quick. It's very easy to jump out of the stocks. But with option, sometimes the volume is low and depending on which particular option you are playing, the volume can be very, very low, and it will take a lot longer for your orders to execute. And sometimes you don't have that much time. So that's one thing you need to take note of. And also, by design, stocks that are popular, high volume stocks, their options are also high volume. So by design, if you go into search options, it's easier for you to get in and get out when you want to. So with options, what are some of the pros of having options? So with options, more leverage. You need less buying power to have control of a larger number of shares of a company. And, that means that you do not have to come up front with all the money needed to own 500 shares of a company, but you can purchase option contracts that give you almost the same leverage as owning the 500 shares of that company. Also, options are versatile. You can design a custom strategy to make money in any situation. You can make money when the stock goes up, the stock comes down, or it trades sideways, or even the price doesn't move at all. You can design a strategy to make money. But when you just buy the stocks outright, you can only make money if the stock goes up. That means you're long, or you short the stock and it goes down. That means you're short. You make money two ways. If the stock price doesn't move, you don't make any money. So options just gives you the versatility to do many different things and survive in a bull market or a bear market. In any market at all, you can survive with options if you know what you're doing. But then again, like I said, it takes a little bit more time to learn the many different strategies with options. So that's the downside. But if options is what you want to trade, then you might as well learn everything. All right, so I made this chart here to just give the beginners a quick guide as to what their actions indicate, and it's color coded. Green means you think the stock is going to go up. Red means you think the stock is going to go down. So if you think a stock is going to go up, you can either buy a call option or you can sell a put. Both of these cases, you are bullish. Bullish means you think it's going to go up. So for the rest of this tutorial and the next video, when it's bullish, I'm going to be using green. And then when you're bearish and you think the stock is going to go down, we're going to use red, okay? So if you think a particular stock is going to go down, that means you are bearish. You sell a call or you buy a put. So now that we've cleared that out of the way, let's move on. All right, so let's bring in Mr. A and Mr. B one more time. This time, they are both given $1,000 to trade Company C. Company C is currently trading at $10 a share. So Mr. A decides to buy call options. He buys 5 call options for Company C, and he has leverage over 500 shares of Company C. Mr. B decides to just buy the stocks directly from the open market, and he has leverage over 100 shares of Company C. So let's say this stock goes up to $12. Mr. B, who bought the stocks directly, makes approximately 20%, because the stock went up 20%. He makes approximately 20% minus, commission fees or whatever, trading platform fees. Mr. A, who bought 5 call options, makes approximately 5 times what Mr. B makes. He probably has to pay a little bit more in fees, but he still comes out way on top. Now, if the stock were to go down, and the fact that Mr. A only bought call options and didn't have any strategy in place, Mr. A will actually lose a lot more. If it goes down by about 20%, Mr. A might even lose up to 60% or more of his money, while Mr. B will only lose exactly how it went down, 20%. So that's why when you're working with options, you have to have a strategy in place which manages your risk and your losses. If you're an older individual with a lot of capital and probably retired and you don't have time to be monitoring the market, stocks is probably your best option. You have a lot of money, you buy a lot of good dividend stocks and enjoy the dividends and hold them for the long term. They may be boring, but they are more stable sometimes. But if you are active in the market, if you are able to check your stuff once a week or something, and you are willing to learn, options might give you a lot more opportunities. In future videos, we will cover various option strategies. We'll take it one at a time. I'm a strong believer that even if it's just one option strategy and know it very well, you have a better chance at doing well in the market. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, so please do your own due diligence before you decide to jump into options or stocks or whatever. All right. Thank you very much for watching this. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. This is just part 1. All right. See ya.